Joining us now is international media spokesperson of United Hatzalah, Rafael Posh. Hi, Rafael. We appreciate you managed to make some time for us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Now, of course, with the freezing conditions, time must be nearly running out to find survivors in the rubble. The Israeli team found 14 so far, but practically speaking, how long can a person survive?
Oh, we just found one more. Actually, just the last half hour, they found another young girl who's 7 years old. She was trapped under the rubble. Our doctors went into the rubble to actually provide her with medication and fluids, and then they were able to get her out a short time thereafter. So how are people surviving? Grace of God really is the amazing thing. Some of the people we found have had crush injuries to various limbs, parts of their body. We've had to lift off very heavy objects or cut through heavy objects in order to pull them out from the rubble because they've otherwise been trapped. The main way that people survive is really through when a building collapses. Sometimes there's air pockets created where pieces of the structure land on each other and create a space in between them. And if people are lucky enough to end up in those spaces, then they often survive for a while. And our goal is to try and get as many of those people who are surviving in those spaces as fast as we can. Like you mentioned before, it's very cold. It's sub-zero temperatures. So that's both good and bad, meaning it causes hypothermia to an extent, but it also creates a situation where the systems in the body slow down a little bit. People need a little bit less water, a little bit less food. And often in times when people are in cold, they can manage to survive a little bit longer than in a warm climate in the same types of conditions. So
that's incredible. At least at a certain point, will the mission change in nature and focus on helping survivors? We see tragic images of people living outside and struggling just to stay alive, even if they survived the earthquake.
The one thing we have to remember is the disaster took place in Turkey. Turkey is one of the world leaders and experts in providing humanitarian aid, first aid, and whenever there's usually a catastrophe somewhere in the world, Turkey is one of the countries that sends aid and missions over there. This happened in the eastern side of Turkey, which is a little less developed. So it's taking time for the local teams and reinforcements to arrive. Also, the magnitude of the devastation is incredible. It's over a very widespread area with dozens of cities affected. So there's a lot of need to go around. So there's definitely humanitarian aid on the way. It's coming. One of the things that the Israeli team was so successful at is getting there quickly, very quickly. The first wave of the Israeli team, I think, was there within 12 hours. Our team was there a day after. Until the rest of help can arrive, we're providing that first push, those first rescue attempts to try and get to places where people haven't yet been rescued. And we are doing our best to try and rescue everyone. So there's definitely a humanitarian aid aspect of the mission coming. It hasn't arrived yet in most places, but it will hopefully in the coming days.
Rafael, what can you tell us about the lives your team managed to save until now?
Sort of vary in age. A lot of people are younger. There have been a lot of kids that we've rescued. Actually, a lot of girls over the last couple of days. I think the last 4 people that our team was involved with were all young girls, or young women, I should say. Different ages. Anywhere going from a couple years old to teenage years. Immediately they receive medical treatment at the scene. If we can already treat them while they're buried in the rubble and get to them, we do that. If not, immediately once we're able to get to them and pull them out, we send in a medical team to assess them and see how they can be moved, what's the best way to move them and safest way to move them so we don't exasperate the injuries. And then once they're stable enough to be moved, we move them, get them to an ambulance, and get them to a hospital. One of the important things to know is that the hospital resources throughout the entire region are very taxed because there were a lot of people who were injured, obviously, in the first couple of days, and they went and sought help in the hospital, as is appropriate. But because there were just so many, and again, the magnitude of this earthquake is such that all of the resources from hospitals throughout the area have been depleted, and they're now just starting to get more resources coming from other parts of the country and internationally. The supply is the demand far outweighs the supply of medical resources that's currently available in that region in Turkey.
Rafael Posch, incredible work that you do. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.